Greetings, comrades, and welcome to the Rad Gaming Podcast. I'm Pescador.
And I'm Jemshi. And in this episode of the podcast, we discuss Amazon Prime Day, Dr. Mario World, which is the new mobile game from Nintendo, and we give our own opinion on that game. And we also go into Germany's new treatment for gaming addiction.
Guess what? We have our Cento Fury gear. And it's a lifestyle and a fashion brand. And I love this shirt. And I love that company. So if you want to get yourself a Cento Fury shirt, go to centofury.com to join the family. That is CENTO-FIORI.com. And the Rad Gaming Podcast is part of Big Heads Media. So, on to the podcast.
Pescador, Amazon Prime Day is upon us. Are you going to buy anything?
To be honest, I was a little bit lame this year. I only bought a dog hammock because my 120-pound Great Dane just tore her dog hammock in the car. So I bought one of those. But I did see there's a bunch of games on sale. I did see Kingdom Hearts was on sale for $20. Or Kingdom Hearts 3, I should say. And that game looks awesome, and I didn't get a chance to buy it. I'm really sad about that. But I saw a few other games. I saw Resident Evil was on sale for like $22. There's a few other ones, but I did see some pretty interesting gaming news. And before I go on, did you get anything from Amazon Prime?
I did not. I'm kind of lame. I feel like I did a little bit on the Steam sales. I think I've kind of toned back a little bit on my game purchases as of late. It might pick up later on towards the winter whenever I'm indoors a lot more.
Good.
That's when I feel like that's when my gaming gets a lot more intense.
It's going to go great into my next segment, though, Jemshi. And did you see the Blair Witch Project actually has a video game?
No.
Yes. Yes, it does. And people don't really know too much about it just because they didn't really give any context to they just put a trailer out there. The only thing that people know is it comes out August 30th, 2019. And the game looks
soon.
Yeah, and it looks pretty interesting. So I see people using flashlights, or a guy that you're seeing in first person, usually looking around with a flashlight in the very dark, creepy woods, and you see flashes of things running with you, and then you run into a building, and then basically he switches his camera. It's kind of like a Outlast, kind of like feel, kind of like vibe, but it looks pretty creepy. Are you going to get it, is the question.
Nope.
Yeah, I didn't think so, but
maybe I'll watch you play it. But I don't think that
It depends. I want to see how this game does. I don't really know too much about it, like I said. So the game's graphics looks really good, at least. And I know that's coming out for Xbox and PC. I don't know about PS4. But the game looks pretty sick.
For me, it's a lot less scary to watch someone else play a game than actually play it myself. Because I think that detachment from the game is what really helps. Because when you're the one making the decisions, that's when it becomes oh man, I don't know. Okay, whatever. We'll move on.
Yeah, so we got to play Super Mario World. Dr.
Mario World.
Yeah, I couldn't remember it for a second.
Super Mario Run and then Dr. Mario World.
I was combining both of them. That's okay, but what did you think about it? First impressions.
I like it as just a even though it is a Nintendo game, that aside, I think it's actually a pretty, addicting mobile game. Obviously it's because it's got all the qualities of a mobile game where it's got.
So I got to interrupt you right here, right now. And I'm wondering, are you playing it right now? Because I hear music in the background. I hear it. Is it on your phone?
It's not on my phone. It's on silent right now.
My phone? Because I was playing it. No. Okay. Just making sure.
I think you're going crazy. Have you been playing a lot recently?
I'm not gonna lie. Right before we started doing the podcast, I was playing a little bit. It's a little bit addicting. It's pretty good.
Yeah, I like that it has that kind of like that addicting loop that most mobile games have, where it's you can feel like you can play the next level. For me, a little bit, I think the beginner levels were a little too much. Obviously, because I think there was a little bit too much of a oh, obviously you got to do this, you got to do this, and you have like 5 or 10 levels of like super obvious solutions.
Yeah,
But I think as it gets moves on, and we found that we have to get it to level 20, which I think it doesn't take that long. I would say it takes like 20 minutes, like a minute per level, no more. So maybe 15-20 minutes to get to level 20, and then you can play versus mode where you can play with friends, and that's what we did. Also,
yes, I smashed you at first, but then you came back and smashed me. So, well,
that's how I found out that I could attach my Goomba assistant and help me out. So
I still didn't attach anything until just today. Like, I'm like, dang it, Jemshi crushed me, and I'm wondering why.
That's what I did. Like, I lost the first one. I was like, well, I forgot to attach my Goomba. No wonder I lost. And then I find
I didn't have any attachments when we fought. I'm so sad. If I would have known that. So you can attach. So maybe we can go into a little bit more depth about this. So as your main character, like your doctor character, you can play as Mario or other characters like Bowser. You play as Bowser. I play as Mario. And each one of them kind of gives their special ability. And I don't know what Bowser's is because I never had. What is Bowser's?
In like single player, just like on the level, it will it says that it will just like destroy everything on 2 random rows. But I find that actually isn't random. Every time you play the level, it's the same. It's the same rows every time. So I wonder if they've got like a
maybe they messed something up.
Yeah, no, I think it's per level. Like each level has its own rows that are taken away. So I'm thinking like they purposely choose which ones to eliminate so that they make sure there's still a little bit of a challenge. Cause I thought like, oh, random, like I'll just hopefully play again and again until like my power up destroys the back row, and it's a lot easier to play from then. But it never seems to do that. So I think there is a little bit of a controlled randomness, I suppose. Maybe they say random as opposed like they can't guarantee at any time like, oh, it's always going to be these 2 rows, the next level could be different. But that aside, I think I like playing it better without destroying all the using the power-ups, the rows and everything, because I find like it's actually easier, because sometimes I find that it actually makes it harder to beat the level because there are certain like groupings of the virus's colors that are now gone and make it harder to now
drop the specific color on.
Yeah, so that's the thing that I find it's actually a little bit detrimental to have the power-ups for some levels. But yeah, I think it's pretty cool. Like obviously I think I like the challenge, so I'm like, oh, I'm not going to use that many power-ups or any kind of like items or anything to help me win, because I think I like the fact that I know that every level was designed to be beatable without any power-ups or items, and get all 3 stars, because for every level you play there is like a 3-star. I think a lot of mobile games have this, where it's like you get like a rating where you have to like, if you did sort of good, you get like 1 star. If you did pretty good, it's 2. And then if you did amazing, then it's 3 stars. So I've been playing every level until you get 3 stars. And I think I've gotten 3 stars every time. So I don't know if it's just...
I'm pretty sure later on in the episode, like on the other stages, like the other missions, I only got like 1 maybe? Or 2 sometimes. I got 1, like maybe once or twice. I got up there really high, Jemshi. I think I was like level 50 something. That's pretty sad to say.
Yeah, I'm only in like the 20s. I played just so that we could play versus match, and that's kind of what I like playing the most. Is like, for me, I guess I love being able to play like with friends or against friends, or that friend aspect of the game is kind of, I think, the thing that I enjoy the most. Which is, I think, why every mobile game I've played the most has always been games that I can play with somebody else, like Words with Friends, Draw Something. Word with Friend 2, Draw Something 2, all kinds of games that allow you to play. Those are the big games that when I first got a phone, those were the games that I wanted to play, because everybody was playing those games at the time.
So with that said, what do you think about this game? I know you don't like half points, so like, what do you feel about this game? Should people download it? What do you give it?
If you're in the mobile games, I think this is a game that you should download and play. It's fun, and I think it's a game that has a lot of challenges, and it's nice to know that they're always going to be pumping out new levels, because each like successive thing, they have like new levels that come out and everything. So I would download this game. I would say how I like to do it, if I rate it out of 5, I'm going to give this a 4-star. Because 3 is just like, yeah, I'd play it again, but I wouldn't be going out of my way to play it again. But 4 stars is a game that I would play again, and a game that I would recommend to somebody else. So I feel like
Yep.
it's for me, it's a 4-star out of 5. How about you?
Yeah, I would give it a 4 out of 5, and the reason being, and I know you don't like half points, so I gave it a 4, so we don't have that argument again.
Decimals only work whenever you're doing averages. That's
regardless.
That's the
I
only
still
time I allow
like
it.
the half a star because it gives you, that little leeway, but like it's really good, but it needs to get just a little bit higher, and it could get a 5 because like you
That's
don't know
what
the
a
difference.
4-star is. It's like you're like, oh man,
No, but still, man, like there's like the best game ever, then like almost there, just needs a little bit more.
Yeah,
Then
that's
there's
what
the
4-star
I still
is.
wouldn't give it 4.5 though. I'll put it that way. I'll give it a 4. And but the reason why is because the game is really fun. It's really addicting. I noticed that microtransactions aren't really that huge of a deal. So like you can play with hearts, and you get 5 hearts once you get past the beginning stages of the game.
Yeah, once you get to level 20, so you have unlimited lives until you get to level 20.
Correct.
And then after that, you have 5 lives that have to be replenished by, I don't remember.
It's like every 30 minutes you get 1 heart, which isn't bad.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure it's 30 minutes, right? 30 minutes, yeah. So I found it very actually like good that it actually replenished itself, unlike Harry Potter. You know, the Harry Potter game, the Wizards Unite game.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't replenish my energy, so I couldn't really play the game, and I just kind of gave up, and I uninstalled the game, to be honest, after we played it, because I just couldn't play it. There's no way I can get my energy back, so why bother? But in this game, at least, you wait 30 minutes, you get a heart, 1 heart, and then you keep on going. You can build up and play again. So I think it's pretty simplistic. The idea is pretty easy. I like the fact that you have the main doctor, which you can switch out with other characters from the Mario world, and then the assistants, like they have the bullet, they have the I have mushroom. I saw that. I think they have other characters as well, but they also help you with your stages as well. So I thought that was pretty cool. But yeah, I would definitely download it, and it's definitely worth replaying over and over again. I'm still playing it, and I need to delete it before I just get sidetracked sometimes, because I can find myself like when I'm really bored, I'm like, maybe I'll play a round or two, But
yeah, I have that same problem, which is why I try not to play mobile games, because I know it's really funny to think that it's not taken as seriously as like console gaming or PC gaming, but yet here we are going like, oh, whenever we have like that spare minute, or like me when I'm like laying in bed and I'm about to go to sleep, I'm kind of like, well, I'm not like that tired. Let me just play like a couple rounds or something. And that's kind of how I would play the game. And it was, I don't know. It's just kind of funny to think that I still play that. I wonder how many. I really need to do like one of those things where you count how many hours you're doing during the day. Like how many minutes do you spend on each activity? I would love to see how many minutes I spend on my phone, dabbling on like Instagram or Facebook or like all those social media apps on Dr. Mario World. Like, does that actually like outweigh the amount of time I play video games like on a console or PC? Because I'm almost wondering it probably will. Like, because I know that like I had to uninstall some of my social media apps because I was like, oh, I'm on there too much, But I need to be on there because, we got a social media to maintain. But it's like, I try to like limit myself where I'm like, okay, I won't touch it at all until like, what is it, like noon. My morning cannot be like anything to do with social media or anything, because I want to make sure that like something gets done in the day.
Do you find that it's very distracting when you have that at your fingertips? There's these type of games, social media, all that stuff.
Yeah, I find that I am unfortunately one of those people that pulls my phone out whenever I have absolutely no reason to pull my phone out and look at Instagram. Like, I literally put my phone in my pocket, and I was like, I don't know what to do. Let me pull my phone out and look at Instagram again. I was like, I literally just put my phone away because I was done looking at Instagram. And here I am putting my phone back up again. Or even like where I close the app Instagram and then I go right back to Instagram again. Like, okay, let me go to it. It's like, So that's why I had to start like giving myself limits on when I can even pick my phone up or do stuff with it.
Yeah, well, it's kind of funny that you talk about that. And I know in the past episodes of the podcast, we talked about video game addiction and how it was a thing. So, with that said, what if I told you that they think that they have a treatment for video game addiction?
I would be very curious to see what their treatment or cure is.
Okay, well, there's researchers over in Germany that actually published a study basically done on I think it was like 250 individuals. Unfortunately, they don't know if the study is 100% accurate, but if they found like retention rate of like 40 or people that go in remission like 70% of the time. So, but it's all males that they've done the study on. So it doesn't really count. It doesn't count females, but it only focuses straight on males. So all the information that they've actually recovered, they've realized that it's not. They don't try to treat them with drugs. What they try to do is make them cognizant of what's going on technically, and they want them to treat themselves. So basically, the way they start, they say that they kind of maintain this disorder by educating the patients with the effects of video game addiction. And then they basically give them a diary and have them write in a diary every single time that they feel that emotion, and that before they like start gaming, they write down that feeling basically in their book, and they start to realize over and over again what that feeling is, maybe boredom or what have you, but they write it down over and over again, and they start to realize it. So that once they start to realize that this triggers their video game addiction, they try to find a way to take that energy and basically redirect it into something else.
So I guess what they're saying is that they need to be aware of their problem, but then also be on the outlook, I guess, to find other solutions to their boredom or whatever, sadness or happiness, mad, whatever feelings they have, I guess, before they want to play games. Like, what else can they do to have that outlet that they're looking for?
Exactly. So, I mean, they're not really doing or fighting with drugs. They're more or less trying to make them cognizant of what's actually going on once they figure out themselves why they start doing this. Because they're talking about people that, they did this study on people that do like 10-hour sessions a day. Like, they're so addicted to video games that, or so they claim to be addicted to video games. And they really controlled the study actually technically by using the 250 individuals, and they cut them in half. And they split it up. So, 75 went one way, 75 went the other way. And they did the control study with the one group of 75 and not the control study with the other group. And just kind of monitor how they change their patterns and see how they act when they institute this like principle to them. And it's really interesting to see that just by making someone cognizant of what they're doing, and every single time that they like feel that emotion and they like want to do that thing, they're like, okay, well, write it down, remember that, and then next time do something, like take that energy and do something else with it. And I'm not really exactly sure because like they don't want them to get away from the internet. So like they're testing this on PC. So like they don't want to take them away from the internet because you need internet to do things for the basic jobs and something like that. So they're like allowing them to use the internet and things like that.
So the games are like at their fingertips at all times, and it's just
yes.
Like, what are they doing with? For me, I think my only problem or question about that study is how do they remember to do that, like write to the diary? Because I've always tried to do something like that where I was like, oh, every time I look at my phone, I'll like try to, write down every time I look at my phone. It's like I forget. Like I'm already like halfway through my day, but if I'm like, oh, I haven't even written anything down about that.
I'm not sure if they're like studying them in a laboratory for this kind of like behavior, just because I read the article, I skimmed through the article pretty quickly just because I thought it was really interesting. They have other articles as well, but I'll have to get back on that because I honestly don't know how they make sure they write it down, but I'm pretty sure they're monitoring them pretty well.
Maybe they're doing, because I have a brother, and for his phone, he has a password, like a PIN code, and it's like 20 characters long. And that's like his way to, every time he looks at his phone, he's got to and type it in. So, that's like his like little way of like, oh, it prevents me from like looking at my phone all the time because it's like, that little inconvenience where he's like, is it worth me typing this all the way in just to unlock it? And obviously he didn't start it out that way. he was just like, oh, I just wanted to see how many numbers I could remember to unlock my phone. And then he said it was just like an inconvenience. And then he was like, well, I kind of like that. Now I don't look at my phone as much, and it's like a little bit in the way. And then, of course, he got a phone with the fingerprint scanner, so that ruined that. But in that moment, right? In that moment where that time when he did have that long, password, I'm sure he probably still does. I think that would be something that I would like to have, I guess. Like, imagine every time you play a video game, you have to type in like a long password, or every time you have to do something, like that would be like, you're like, oh, do I have to do this every time? Would that start like, making you go like, oh, well, this is the time that I plan to play video games, and I have like time set aside, and it's not like like a mobile game addiction or a phone, like, oh, I could do that for like 5 minutes really quick. But would that be worth typing in a password for 30 seconds or something? Like, you'd be like, nah, I'll just stand here and socialize with my friends or something,
See, that's I don't disagree with it, but I'm saying that like my solace, I find pleasure out of playing like last minute. Like, so my fiance is getting ready for something. I like go like, how, I'm not gonna sound rude, but sometimes women take a little longer than men to get ready sometimes. So I have leeway, 20 minutes. And I'm like, I hurry up and get ready. I'm already dressed. I don't know what to do with myself. I'm like, I'm not going to do anything physical because then I have nice clothes on, ready to go out. Sit down and play a video game for 10, 15 minutes while I wait, and then that's my pleasure. And if I have to type in that stupid long password, that's going to prevent me from getting my solace. I'm going to be really upset about it, but
I guess you would have to, it would make you, deter you to, and now I guess, detour you into taking a different action then? Like, what would you do instead? Would that you would feel...
You're right. Maybe I might be more productive. I don't know. You could be right. Could be onto something.
I don't know, something like that.
Dr. Jemshi.
Yeah, I feel like I'm going to
coming up with your own methodology.
Coming in like, well,
Maybe I don't know.
You need to start spending more time with your dog. He doesn't even.
You're saying I should put a parental lock on my games? Is that what you're saying?
I don't know. I think prevent yourself from spending too much on in-game purchases. As long as I think that's a good, as long as you're doing that and you're not feeling like you're that addicted to the games, I feel like it's okay to spend that 15, 20 minutes, like you said, to just play a quick round or two, whatever favorite game you like to play.
But there is a flip side. I mean, there's times I'm just like, I'll play Rocket League for like half an hour, then I gotta cut the grass or something, and then I'm just like sitting there, I'm like playing it for 30 minutes, and like I'm looking at my watch, I'm like, one more, like every gamer says one more game, and then I look back at the watch and the hours pass. I'm like, oh, well,
I'll just mow the grass tomorrow.
Yeah. Or I'm like, oh, well, there goes that. I'll just push it to tomorrow, and then like I'll mow it. Obviously, I'm not that bad, but I mean, still, there's times when I'm like,
you're saying you actually mow it the next day when that happens.
Yeah, I'm like, I won't even go anywhere near my computer. Because like if I sit down, I'll be like, let me look up something, like let me look up some gaming news, or let me look up something, and then I'll be like, oh, wait a second. Yeah, there's I just started playing Vermintide. Let me play again. Let me play a few rounds of that, and then little do I know, like it's gonna be like 2 hours, 3 hours later. I'm like, dang it, wasted all the day. Like I did it again.
I think for me, growing up, the one, like, I know that you didn't have any siblings that played video games or kind of hogged the system when you play, but I had siblings where like we'd have like the little timer, and you got 30 minutes to play on like your time, and then you'd had like maybe an hour before you could even get back on. Maybe an hour and a half, 2 hours or something. So I wonder if like that helped me, because I have like other things that I like to do also. Like I like playing piano, guitar, and like other things that I guess my parents are a lot more proud of. Like, yes, my son is now practicing his instruments and learning music and becoming very well, skilled in these, the musical endeavors. And then like, I think like that kind of thing is, I think like that helps me, like, I don't know. I still feel like I was more obsessed with video games than like, all those other things. But I wonder if it's just because like it was, video games is like, it's so different every time you sit down a lot of times. Like I feel like you can play a whole different game, be in a whole new world, but like whenever you're playing music, it's kind of, I do think it is a little limiting whenever it's just me in my room playing my
Well,
guitar.
I mean, it depends on the individual. I mean, yeah, like look at some creative people that are like very good with instrument. I'm not saying you're not good. I'm just saying like some people are seriously talented. They can make it whatever they want. You know, it's the sky's the limit, man. And I commend those people. But like I have skills in like I'm not severely talented in something. Like in school, I was really good at soccer, and I went to college and played soccer. But after that, no more soccer, man. That was the best I got. And then after that, I'm like, oh, well, I don't have anything. Like I dabble in a few things. So let me just fill that void with, maybe playing like 30 minutes, which ended up turning into like an hour and a half of video games.
Extremely talented in video games. I'm going to say, compared to me, definitely. And for me, I feel like I played a lot of video games. But I know when we played PUBG together, it was always you getting the most kills compared to me. So I will say that you're definitely like, I know you're trying to say like, oh, I'm not talented at anything. But I think like, from what I see, it seems like when you're the most talented in the thing that you put the most time into. And I do see that you're...
Thanks, Jemshi. I guess that's a compliment.
It is. I'm trying to feel like you don't think that you are accomplishing anything, but you do have like that, skill that a lot of people probably wish they had when they're playing games. I wish I had, I know.
Well, I appreciate it. I guess I put in the time, put in the practice. Give me a esports sponsorship.
I need to see you playing soccer. I didn't even know this. I'm curious.
Yeah. I used to play soccer.
What position?
Striker.
Oh, okay.
That was pretty cool. Back in the good old days when my coach didn't care what I did, he's like, "You're midfield," and I would just run up and down all day because I love to run. And now, like, you can't even get me to run 2 miles, and I'm just like, nope, I'm done.
I ran cross country and track in high school. And I didn't do anything in college. But I think it was funny is that at work they would play soccer after work. And I was like, oh, I'll join them. And I found that literally like I had that like mentality like, oh, I've run miles and miles at for a single time. I could just run and play soccer, no problem. And like at first I was like dominating. Like I was just like always up and down the field. I was always on that block. I was always going for that shot. And I think like maybe with like 5 minutes left, I was the most exhausted I've ever been in my life, where I finally realized I haven't run in such a long time. And like I literally was like, I downed my entire Gatorade. Like I don't think I don't even think I took a breath. I just went and it just like it was gone. And I remember being like, I don't have any more Gatorade. What am I gonna do after the game? But I think it's funny that like running is a lot of like that mental. It's a mental game almost. Like you just have to like not think about the fact that you're tired. You have to keep running. And when you're in the game of soccer, sometimes you're not thinking about the fact that you're tired. You're like, well, here he comes. He's coming towards me. There's that one guy that's actually good at playing soccer, and the entire group of people we're playing with.
Dude, I was the enforcer of my team. And there's a little bad streak in me, if you will. Like, I said I was like bad in school. Here and there, I was bad. I remember for a fact there was a player on their team. We were playing indoor soccer because I lived in Pennsylvania at the time, and there was one point in time this character kept on like a character. Jeez, oh man, I'm thinking video games. This person was
your life is a video game.
I know, right? This kid was throwing elbows and stuff, and the ref wasn't calling it, so I got a little mad and gave him a little shove and stuff. And so I guess the goalie on the other team thought it was, fair to like give one of our players a shot. So I guess one of our teammates ran past them, and the refs weren't looking because the play was down the other way. And this goalie, I ended up watching him with a kick our teammate right in the chest, basically as hard as he could. So
wow.
Yeah, I know. And I was super mad. So I ended up booting the ball down to him on purpose. Like I didn't even try to take a shot. Just wanted to kick it right at him. And the ball was bouncing and he was just about to catch it. And I ran him over like as hard as I could. And I ended up getting kicked out of the game. I got a red card, but it was totally worth it. My coach like he was pretty pissed until I told him the entire story, and he's like, well, and then good job, it's fine.
I think a coach likes to see whenever you're like in it for the team. You're like, well, he did this to my teammate, you know. Like if you were like, oh, well, it's my teammate, not my problem, you know. Like then he would probably feel like, oh, he's so detached from everything, you know.
I'm just a vicious person. I just want to run people over for a living, you know. That's what.
So you're like, any reason I can get to run someone over, I'll take it.
Yeah, absolutely. But no, I didn't even finish football like the whole way through high school. I think I dropped out my senior year to pursue the talents of other things, and video games, I think. No, I honestly don't remember why. I think it was soccer that I really was interested in, not so much football. But
what position do you play in football? I feel like I didn't know you played sports at all.
I played fullback, so I wasn't the running back technically. I blocked for the running back. Okay. So I get to run people over.
Right where you belong.
So there you go. Yeah. So that's that's where I belong. Yeah, running people over. But no, I played football. I used to pitch and play first base in baseball. I think that's the extent, because my school only offered football. I played basketball too for a while. I forgot about that. And believe it or not, and I'm only like not even 6 foot. I'm like 5'11" and like 3/4 or something. Yeah, something like that. I'm pretty close to 6 foot, but I'm not. I was like the tallest kid in my grade, and I was like down below. So like I'd play against other schools, and their kids would be like 6'5", 7 foot, and I'm like, are you kidding me? Like I have to guard this dude. Like it was the worst. Like it was so tough. But I enjoyed basketball for a while, but soccer is what I ended up sticking with. But
for me, at my school, the tallest was like 6'6". Like so, we were that like tall kid school. So like for me being like I want to say I'm 6 foot. No one else knows. So me being 6 foot still felt like I was just like a average height person at my school. One of them of which actually played baseball and is now playing in the minor leagues with baseball. And I think
you know what team?
Yeah, the Rangers, Texas Rangers.
Ooh.
So, but the one thing is that he was, when I played Little League in elementary school, he made a triple play all by himself that he just constantly would brag all the time.
I remember you telling me about
this. I know. This is the guy.
Completely disregard throwing the ball to you.
Yeah, so he didn't throw me the ball, and that was the reason why I got the triple play. So I'm like waiting. I'm like, he's so close to the major league. I can't wait for him to make it. And then I'll be like, all right. So now, you know that new player that's on the Rangers, that guy, like, and then I'll like tell my story, and I would love to see him because I'm sure he's like a completely different person now, but like at the time. So for me, it's like that. That's my revenge. I'm like waiting to be like, oh, everyone thinks he's gonna be like this awesome guy from our hometown playing professional baseball, and I'll be like, actually, he's the worst person ever.
Yeah, I'd be like, you run up to him, can you sign this ball? And then you get it, you just throw it in a dumpster, be like, this is what I think of you. You know?
Actually, I probably would do something like that, where I'd be like, oh, I'd have to do something that, like, to make fun of the fact that he didn't throw me the ball, and he had to run all the way or something. I don't know.
Yeah, you have to really think that one through, and then the punchline, you need to be like, see what happens when you don't throw others the ball, you know, or I don't know, something more creative.
I guess I could have him like try to sign like the ball or something, and I'd be like just out of reach, and I'm like, oh, I thought you always wanted to do everything yourself, you know, like you want me to hand you the ball now? Like I don't know,
you can pull him back a little further and further.
But it's funny because that's like my only interaction or memory with this guy, and he's like probably, just like I said, he's probably a completely different person now. A lot nicer, you know. Okay, I'm sure. Like
one can only hope.
I would hope. See, I do have like good hopes for him that he is, you know. I would like to see, you know, a hometown hero being somebody that I'm actually happy to see. But you know, that's all. That's what I said. Like for me, that's my only interaction, and that's all I've been able to, you know, see from him. But yeah, I think it'd be kind of cool to have a hometown hero. Maybe that'll be me. I'll be that guy.
Yeah. Tell everyone you got a podcast called the Rad Gaming Podcast. You need to run a test for us here at the podcast. You need to put a bunch of parental locks on all your devices, all your gaming devices, and make it a long password if you have to. And tell me how that works out for you, because I want to know now. Do you feel like it's going to hinder you or stop you from playing these games? Like, I need you to do this study for me.
Why don't you join me?
Because I never wanted to. I said I'm interested. I'm the conductee. I watch you. You're gonna show me what's gonna go on.
All right, I'll do that. Now that I think about it, I'm like, as much as I would hate to do it, I know it's for the better. I think for me, the app that I need to get rid of is YouTube. Because for me, I like to have YouTube's a video playing, something that's discussing some kind of knowledgeable facts or something. I don't know. I like learning random new things that aren't relevant or never going to be useful in the rest of my life. But they make interesting points of conversation. And that is one thing I think helps a lot whenever you can talk about the most random of things and suddenly be like, oh yeah, like I know a little bit about that. I'm not one of those guys where I've listened to like one podcast on something and I act like I'm an expert. I like to be humble. I'm just pointing that out there. I don't want people to suddenly, whenever they talk to me, they're like, oh wow, when I was talking to Jemshi that one time.
Yeah, someone goes up to you and be like, hey Jemshi, did you know about Russia, what they just did? And you're like, in the news, they're like, no, but I can tell you something I learned on YouTube. Is that your skill?
Yeah, pretty much, basically.
There's nothing wrong with that. So we're going to have you download all those things or delete them, whatever you think is going to help you. And then you tell me how many hours, like you log it. I'm going to let you log it and tell me how many hours you play.
I think with YouTube, I'm going to have to make it, I uninstall it and like that thing, sign out, uninstall it. So that every time I want to watch YouTube on my phone, I now have to go to the App Store, download it, wait for it to download, then come in, sign in, and then I always have like my 2-factor authentication thing on. So then I have to sign that. So I think that would probably hinder me. And I think that I would actually accomplish a lot more else. Like I said, like you become proficient and an expert in the things that you spend the most time on. And I'm very good at finding random videos on YouTube, but I would for that to be something. I would like to add another skill. But I feel like that's a skill that may not go away.
Learn to speak Spanish.
Oh, I've been practicing Spanish, but
well, we all have, Jemshi. We all have.
I know, but that's like one thing that I like to do at least every morning. That's like my little morning routine, actually. I wake up, I do my morning stretches because I like to be not too much of a... Because I sit around all day. You do yoga,
but you do can you say like that's a spicy meatball in Spanish or something?
I don't know what the word for my what meatball is though. It'd be like
carne.
Carne. What would it be? I don't know. Yeah, polo de carne.
I don't know.
Picante? I think that's right.
Bolos de
Hopefully our Spanish listeners will correct me on that one. I feel like I'm pretty close. I feel like
it's whatever. It's close enough.
It's not bolo. It's bowl.
Bolas.
BOL.
Wait.
I think.
I don't know.
Yeah, but I know a little bit more. I know common phrases and stuff just to conversational. I'm trying to get a lot better.
Listen, I know my name is Pescador, but I don't know any Spanish. That's the sad truth. So deal with that. I don't know. But no, I'm actually going to do the same thing, but I'm not going to delete anything. What I am going to do is I am going to log every single time that I am going to play a game, and I will return to you said log after, what are we going to do this for 2 weeks?
Yeah, 2 weeks, or I think 2 weeks is a good amount of time. Because I think like 1 week I don't know. It's one of those things where I feel like after 1 week, I'll be like, all right, I'm going to binge back on everything again.
Well,
even 2 weeks,
see how well it
do that no matter what, I guess. But I think 2 weeks is a good amount of time. I want to log every time that I pick up my phone. I'm going to have to find like some kind of app where every time I pick it up, I can hit like a button and it will automatically track every time I've unlocked. I'm sure there's an app out there. There's got to be
I'm sure there is.
And if there isn't, I'm going to be the one that develops it.
It's not so much it is my phone because I use it for a lot. Like, I only go on Twitter. I don't really go on too much social media. I don't Facebook really, to be honest. But Twitter is my hindrance. Like that's what I go. Or my
I would like
vice.
to see the thing. I think that I don't think it would be a problem for me. It's that all the apps have now implemented this endless scrolling, which is amazing for the app because it keeps you on the app as long as possible. But it's just like I just keep scrolling.
When do you stop?
Yeah. And that's my downfall is like the fact that I cannot stop scrolling, and I don't know how much time passes. And I wish that there was like a feature that would be instantly like be like, all right, you're done. Instagram's over. You've had your 2 minutes. I think 2 minutes is enough time on an app, I think.
Maybe. Yeah. And you can't pick it up for another half an hour?
Yeah, half hour or
an hour. I don't know.
Yeah, whatever. I feel like that's enough time if you've got like a message on Instagram or something. You got enough time to respond in 2 minutes. Read it. That's like a text message. Yep. That's the thing. I think like text messages also I'd have to find out. But then it's like, do I want to be less social, but then more social in person? But I don't. I have to actually like see these people, tough. So I need to text them to actually meet them in person.
My test is going to be mostly for. I mean, we could do phone too, but I'm going to see video game wise, man. I want to know monitoring wise. Like I just played Rocket League before I got on here. And then I just played Mario while we were just like setting everything up. So that was like a double whammy right there. So I gotta log those. Like, I'm not gonna log them now, but I'm going to log in general when I log on to stuff.
Yeah, I think that'd be interesting. I think for me, I might try to just like. I think for me, I want to see what do I end up doing otherwise. What else do I do instead of video games, you know? Like, what do I end up doing instead? Do I just waste my time anyway? Like, am I just in a mood of, like, I want to waste my time? Like, sometimes, like...
that's a great study, man. We'll find out. And you tell me what you do. Like, we'll log every single time we want to go touch our said phone or a console or, like, PC for game-related reasons or things like that. For yours is like your vice is what? YouTube. So you can tell me every time you do that, write it down, man, and then say like you stop yourself, but what did you do instead? Because I might find myself eating more or just like twiddling my thumbs. I don't know. But
pick up an instrument, man. That's what you got to do. Get drums or
Gaming Podcast. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel and rate and subscribe to us on iTunes or wherever else you listen to podcasts. We release a new episode every Wednesday and Friday. And as always, stay rad, comrades.